At a time when we face difficulties and a crisis, anxious moments, and perhaps something we've never faced in our lives before, the people around us become the most valuable. And for many of us, the people who are most valuable to us, apart from family, turn out to be the families we belonged to when we were in schools and colleges. These friendships and networks persist through generations. They persist for many, many years and decades. And at a time of difficulty and crisis, both personal and national, often become ports of call for all of us to organize, to act, to help, and to actually get things done in a difficult circumstance, as I mentioned, perhaps never seen in our lifetimes. Many of these organizations are alumni organizations belonging to schools and colleges. Of the schools, some of them and their presidents, their committee members, and their members are joining us on the broadcast. We have with us Praneet Babbar, she's Vice President of the Old Sanarian Society, Rahul Kohli, who is President of the Doon School Old Boys Society, Vineet Sareen, President of the Modern School Old Students Association, Ajit Saldana, he is an alumni of St. Mary's in Mount Abu, Harmeet Singh is Vice President of Mayo College Old Boys Society, Mr. Devraj Singh Badgara, he is Vice President, Board of Governors in Delhi College in Indore. He is also Chairman, GD Goenka. And Shivani Anand, she is President of the Welham Girls Alumni Association. Shivani ji, if I can begin with you, at this point of time, which is unimaginable for most of us, these kind of associations and networks, what role can they play, ma'am?
Well, I must say that we actually don't know what's hit us. We've never been in a situation like this. Both my daughters have been in Wellams as well.
Ma'am.
And school is with third generation. So we don't even understand, firstly, having our children back home, suddenly in the middle of a term, and with absolutely no direction, no idea how we're going to move forward with class 12, what is going to happen in college. The whole trauma of just this generation is hit first. School has handled it very well, Wellams, as such, because they've decided to make it, they use this opportunity to declare it as a summer holiday for us. They reacted very fast. They created a summer holiday for 2 months. We have now gone into Zoom classes. So school is picked up and has started, has picked up the baton quite fast. But it's very uncertain. And as for the alumni, we are working towards whatever help we can. As individuals, everyone is out there doing as much as they can, reaching out in their areas. As a society, we have not done, we support Asra Trust in Dehradun, which is where we support 52 children whose education we look after. So we have been supporting them through our network that we've already started with them. Besides that, we've also taken Doon School, who is, who guides us in a lot of ways. And we are supporting this an initiative by Doon School, where Rahul will fill you in with details about. We're helping. We've provided them with financial assistance in helping. So this is where we are at the moment.
Okay, Mr. Kohli. Now there are some specificities, of course, that any organization can do, which is actually to give particular relief, practical relief. But then the reality that's dawned, to me after doing a month of conversations with all sorts of people is connecting the dots between the guy who has a particular invention and the college or the hospital that needs it, and the third guy that can manufacture it is very, very important. Now, what role can networks like this play, sir?
Well, let's put it like this. It's not just about the network. It starts with the essence of the education that is imparted by these great schools. When you look at it, say at the heart of the Doon School education, the heart of our curriculum is an emphasis on who you are, what you do, how you do it, and how what you do makes you feel. we put a huge, in our curriculum, in the Doon School curriculum, we put an enormous weightage to service. So what's happened is, as this COVID-19 pandemic hit, the Doon School Old Boys Society just straight went into service mode. We have received an incredible response from our alumni. Huge. For example, in Meerut itself, we have supplied over 2.5 million meals in the last month and some days. We have supplied for Meerut now that's just Meerut, okay? 2.5 million meals. We have supplied 30,000 hot meals. We have supplied 8,500 bottles of sanitizer, 10,500 masks, juice and biscuit packets for the police. Yeah, that's about 6,500. In Dehradun itself, we've supplied 15,000 hot meals, 2,000 hand sanitizers, 2,000 face masks, gloves, 2,500 liters of glucose-enriched drinks for police personnel on duty. For the Uttarakhand police, we have given them 400 PPE kits. We have supplied them 50 face shields, 6,000 liters of sanitizer, and that's all courtesy. These are all free supplies, and given to us by old boys who want to just give back to society, because the Doon School emphasizes that you have a duty of care to your nation.
That's excellent, and very, very happy to hear. And please pass on our thanks to all the people who helped, sir. Yeah, finish your point, then Robin Vineet. Yes.
Yeah, that's not all. We have supplied we have supplied a hospital, the Shushila Tiwari Hospital in Haldwani, with over 2,000 PPE kits. This is us and Anurag Agarwal, who is an old boy. He leads something called the Avishkar Group. Yeah, and together we have supplied over 2,200 PPE kits. We have supplied over 100 face masks. We have supplied 350 closed suction catheters. We have supplied the Shanti Bhavan Hospital in Jharkhand with 200 PPE kits. We are going to send them.
So this is literally, I mean, this is the old boys living in various parts of the country who are putting this together.
A lot of these old boys, they're sending money in to Old Boys Society.
Okay.
The Doon School Old Boys Society, because of its incredible network, is able to reach out to other old boys, find excellent sources of
who can do what,
PPE kits, of who can do what, exactly, who can do what, and then we collect it and we send it.
Okay, so the simple methodology is, okay, first is who can contribute what at a central location, then who can do what with that contribution at a different location, and then potentially who needs the most amount of help, because there'll be people who are doctors, people who are running hospitals who actually require that particular amount of help also. Okay, Mr. Kohli, just stay with me. Let me rope in Vineet Sareen. Vineet, why don't you tell us a bit about Modern School and its alumni?
Well, Modern School was established 100 years ago, and incidentally, this is the centenary year of Modern School. And in fact, we, along with the school, have big plans to celebrate the centenary. But, unfortunately, we've been hit by this unprecedented crisis. So, the things have definitely got changed a bit. And we really don't know how it's going to unfold in the future. But, we are all prepared. And in fact, at the moment, we were hit by this crisis, what immediately Modern School Old Students Association, what we in short form call MASOSA, we decided to contribute 5 lakhs from our savings, from the fund we have already. And we are now in the process of tapping our entire network across the globe of about 70,000 modernites who are spread all across the world. So that is already now we are getting into. But besides this, there are several modernites, I can say more than hundreds of modernites who have been working in different parts of the country. And through their individual organizations, charitable organizations, they have been working a lot. And I'm getting a lot of good news that, modernites are contributing very credibly, whether it's providing food or whether it's providing medical equipment or, just helping out. So, we are trying to tap the network not only through MASOSA, but even the modernites are coming forward as they would always. not only now, in fact, in the past also, when there was a Kargil war and the Gujarat earthquake, the massive earthquake in Gujarat, followed by a tsunami, Masosa was in the forefront. We were contributing, and now again, like this is the time for us. Masosa in modern school as one of the most, the oldest and the recognized institutions in the country will definitely be, with the country, and we would be contributing in whatever we can with our network.
Okay. For the record, that's my school. I'm Vineet Sarin's old boy sort of member there. Can I rope in Praneet ji? Praneet ji, can you hear me? Now,
yes, absolutely.
ma'am, at this point of time, first processing things, and then realizing that what is at hand that can be used for what. Now, how is that churned for you over the past 1 month?
So Sanar's been, doing a bunch of different things. The school itself is running they're doing a distribution campaign. They have a COVID relief fund and a campaign running for that. The whole Sanarians are all contributing towards that fund, and the school themselves are supporting the migrant labor and people below the BPL line in the vicinity of Sanar. We have OS who are also contributing to a staff medical emergency fund. We never know when, somebody is going to need that money. We also have, and this is really interesting, we are reaching out to eminent OS in diverse fields and having Zoom sessions with them in an endeavor to inspire all our Sanarians, present and past, to do something in this particular COVID situation. We have had Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, the Indian ambassador to the US, and he talked about his process, what he is doing. And like I said, it's purely to inspire people to do more, come forward to do more. We have Puneet Ranjan coming up this Saturday. Neeti Pal, who is the medical director for KPMG, she comes up the following Saturday, followed by Shaila Bijnath. Shivani, you mentioned Astra Trust.
Yes.
Shaila heads the Astra Trust. Nikhil Mahajan, who is a founder of the Nada Yoga Foundation, and Puneet Sikand, who's been, handing out meals, 2.5 lakh meals, I think, is what it totaled at last when we counted.
Excellent.
And also we have Sanarians all over the globe doing their individual.
Okay, I think we just lost you for a second, ma'am. Let me use the opportunity if I can. I think we are having. I just having a quick network problem. Probably a call coming. Let me use the opportunity to get Devraj Singh ji into this conversation. Devraj Singh ji, what is? I mean, over the past 1 month, first of course is just all of us getting to terms with it. And then there are professions and work and businesses involved that we have to look after. And then the sheer realization that probably came our way was when we suddenly saw the migrants come out, and then we realized that something is not just about staying at home. Things are required to get done. Now, how have you guys processed this?
All right, Rishabh, thank you for having me over. It's wonderful to be amongst alumni of various schools. At Delhi College, the one thing that we've done last year.
What do you want me to do?
We've district collector, and we are providing food for people here, to the migrant workers, other people from the lower section. And these meals are provided, made at the school campus, at the kitchen, and given to various people for help. And this has been really appreciated in the city, also in the state of Madhya Pradesh. And obviously, I've been involved in 2 roles. First is managing the school with the help of the principal, and secondly, the alumni. So school, the first point was the safety of the children, because we have a boarding, day boarding. And ours, Delhi College, is one of the oldest public schools. We were supposed to celebrate 150th year this year. But obviously, now with this COVID, we will replan. But the first point was the safety of the children. So we made sure that the children from all across the globe reach their parents and they are safe. Secondly, in terms of alumni, we have a very strong alumni throughout the world and association based in multiple countries, be it London or Dubai or New York. And we made sure that through these associations, we've done a lot of work, made sure that the parents who are living here in Indore or anywhere else, through the alumni, we can chapters, we can help these old generation. Secondly, also we've started doing webinars now, and there's a person called Apni Bansal who's in Old Alien, with the help of our president Kripal Singh, are starting webinars post-COVID. So multiple things at school and alumni we've been involved with.
Okay, excellent to hear that. Let me try to group it. I think we have Harmeet Singh ji with us on the broadcast now. Harmeet ji, same question. The first was, it was, I can't say surprise per se. We knew coronavirus to some extent was coming, but a 3-week lockdown extended 40 days. Now we've had a 2-week further extension. At what point of time did, after moving from family and, and immediate environment to processing that, we can do something, how has the 1 month been, sir?
So, thanks for having us on the show first. I missed the first part. I think that there was a connectivity problem. Coming to what the alumni has been able to do, beginning of April, I think around the 3rd, we realized that there was a dire need to feed the people who were stranded in Delhi and the people who are not being able to earn wages on a daily basis. So Kabir Advani of Burkos was kind enough to open one of his kitchens, and we started doing meals from his kitchen in Janakpuri. Kitchen in Munirka, we got the director of 4 Point Sheraton, Sunil Gadio, to open his kitchen on the highway. We have now the 3rd kitchen of Burkos which has started, and we have Arvind Pratap Singh's kitchen also working with us. So as of today, we are doing 4,000 meals a day since the 3rd of April. We have dished out about 60,000 meals as of today. That's in Delhi itself, to the people who need it.
Excellent.
Besides this, we have also distributed sanitary pads which were required by the ladies, and we dished out masks to a few police stations and to the local Karamcharis here.
Yes.
They require sustenance over a period of time, so the meals are going out maybe once or twice a day. And the children are hungry all the time. So biscuits, we've already dished out 5,000 biscuits, packets of biscuits. Plus, with this, there was a lot of demand for hygiene. So we've dished out 5,000 soaps. Now, this is mainly in Delhi. Besides Delhi, there are other Mayoites all over the country who are doing things. There is the Punjab kitchen in Bombay, which is doing a lot of work. They are doing about 1,000 meals a day, and I think they've already crossed something like 50,000 meals themselves.
Excellent.
Besides this, they are doing masks, soaps, and groceries, which I think they've given to over 200 families there. We have another young Mayoite in Gurgaon under Moonshine, who's also dishing out meals, and he's also done, I think, 60,000 meals so far. He's given about 5,000 soaps, 5,000 packets of biscuits. We have a group in Bangalore who's helping out with a shelter called I think it's called sorry, the name's not coming back to me just now. So there is a lot of work which is going on. Besides this, Mayo College Ajmer per se is giving milk to children through an NGO, and they are helping out some laborers in a construction which is happening for the new collectorate there.
Okay.
So all the meals are going from Mayo to those people too. So collectively, there's a lot of effort as the old boys are doing. There is a lot of support which has come from worldwide, given money to us in Delhi. And we are, now with this extended lockdown, what's going to happen is the sustenance for the underprivileged and people who are on daily wages are not being able to earn money.
Correct.
We hope we'll be able to sustain them for at least till the end of the month.
Okay, just stay with me, sir. Let me quickly get in Ajit Saldana joining us. He's alumni from the St. Mary's in Mount Abu. Mr. Saldana, thanks very much for sparing your time. Same question to you, sir. Over the past 1 month, after going through the realization of what we are suddenly facing, and I think for me, I've been sitting here for 1 month non-stop pretty much. It was, when people started coming out of the streets who literally had nowhere to go and no food to eat. I think the realization dawned then. How's the past 1 month been, sir?
It's been terrifying. I think, for all of us, the most heartrending thing about this is that our efforts to do anything have been firefighting at best. Unfortunately, we don't have anything like a national level disaster management agency where, the efforts of well-meaning people could have been collated.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Rahulji, Ajit ji is the one person who is with us through our live OB facilities and not on the Zoom call. Rahulji was just wondering why I can't see you. Ajit ji, carry on.
Okay. I hope that he can see us.
No,
now,
we can see you just fine.
But the larger tragedy for me is that, the larger tragedy for me is that we have been unable to coordinate efforts. There's been a lot of goodwill, there's been a lot of people who would like to come forward. There's a lot of people who have been, really horrified by the extent of the suffering that we've seen. And these are seeds that are reminiscent of partition. And for those of us who weren't even born then, it's a horror story that's been handed down by way of anecdotal reference. I think the larger tragedy is that we have not really thought through the implications of a lot of the decisions that have been taken. And this is something that would really encourage us to introspect. I think, places like IIM Bangalore's cell has a very good entrepreneurial development point.
Right.
And while some brilliant ideas have come out of there, unfortunately, we've been unable to put together something that coordinates. You see, years back, I met somebody who, at the time of the tsunami, his organization just went about making things move to the areas where they would do the most good. A lot of well-intentioned people sent blankets to India. But, it's seriously hot in places like Nagapattinam. And what would you do with a blanket?
True that.
So, what he did was send these to Chile and then, use the credit that was racked up there to send this here. So, I think really speaking, what we need is coordination of humanitarian relief so that the good that is done is effective. Because here we are very focused on corporations delivering bang for buck. But unfortunately, that same criteria is not used for those who are in the, I don't say the business, because that would be a little rude, but those who are focusing their efforts on helping the underprivileged.
Okay.
We feel that since we're giving time, that's about it. That the efficiency yardstick is not really used.
Okay, that's a very interesting point. It's not about time; it's about efficiency also. The same metrics that we apply to professions, probably need to apply to service of another kind. Rahul Kohli was wanting to make a point. Rahulji, go ahead. Then I'm coming to you, Devrajit. Then let's rope in Vineet. Rahulji.
I was just saying that when we start looking at the Doon School initiatives, if you just look at the Doon School Old Boys Society initiatives, we have done something like 40 or 50 lakh meals.
Excellent.
If we look at initiatives run by old boys of the Doon School individually through family trusts and through family kitchens, then we're looking at least another 5 million meals. That's another 50 lakh meals. I have to say the Doon School has only 5,000 alumni.
Yeah.
At the end of a month and a half, we have been able to put out closing on 8 or 9 million meals.
No, it's a staggeringly excellent effort.
But the way that the Doon School boy has
Okay,
stepped forward.
but Mr. Kohli, if you allow me just to interject, let me get in Shivani in this and I'll rope in Vineet. Shivani ji, now the reality is that for children and for the schools that we went to, the model of education is going to change, perhaps to the better. And mentorship education is going to become very important. I think you guys mentioned that you're already doing these Zoom seminars, and I'm presuming some students are going to be part of them and will gain for them. Vineet and
Absolutely.
I, in Modern School, have been working on a special series to rope in our alumni to create educative videos for young people on the brief that just don't create a reminiscing video, make it of some use. How do we now aid and assist changing education paradigms?
You see, what happened is with our generation, girls realize that we've got to now start working, right? So all this time, I'm third generation in from Wellams, and Doon has been part of this thing because my father, brother, everyone is from the two schools. So what's happening here is that we've got to change. We have been going back to school, giving a lot. We have been interacting, people from different fields come back to school to talk. So now we have moved it all onto a digital platform. Starting from the next week, we're going to be having webinars where we have, all our class 11th and 12th students can interact with the alumni. We have already got a network where we provide platforms for, if you're interested in filmmaking. There's a whole new world out there. We no longer need to be stuck in a box. And it's kind of interesting. The positive of this is that we've had time to evaluate what's important. And I think everyone will agree that.
So I think just transforming the way education is done. Now it's going to be forced upon us. Maybe that's an opportunity. Vineet, Serene, come in on this because you mentioned the 100th year of Modern School, and NewsX and me and your very dedicated team have been trying to work on projects. Now your organization, for example, does a lot of work with the school constantly year on year. A part of that will change this year, obviously, because social events might not be happening. So what do we do with that time that we've gained?
See, I think first of all, we need to understand, I think the entire education system will have to undergo a change, because I think this is a long haul kind of a fight against the against Corona, and it's not going to end very soon. So the social distancing and everything has to be observed in schools as well. So I think Modern School is doing wonderfully well. All the online classes have been going on for a long period of time. And even the junior school, which is at Humayun Road, has been holding these online classes. So I don't think the students are missing out on that. And so I am also a member of the managing committee of Modern School Barakanda Road. And we are kept well informed that, what are the steps now the school has been taking, even before this COVID-19 issue.
Okay, we just lost you for a second there. I think there's a internet bandwidth issue. Vineet, can you hear us?
I think
you're back. Carry on. You're back. Carry on.
With the new technology.
Okay, we're having a bandwidth issue there. It's obviously a bandwidth issue. We'll just give it 30 seconds to buffer. Vineet, coming back to you. Let me get Ms. Saldana in on this. Ajit Sultana, in understanding that all of us now need to contribute to a younger generation in coming up with new models, how do we do it?
The school,
Sorry, I need your help.
Well, I'm very glad you asked that question, because right now we do have a demographic dividend. 65% of our country is below the age of 30. And I think largely that we have failed them. When I say we, I'm saying the current educational system, to be honest, is garbage. It's truly garbage. Because, really what we need to do is move beyond the rote method of learning. Why isn't any sort of critical thinking taught in our schools? This is why, this is not to take away from any of my co-panelists, but the point is that we are not really looking at tackling this in a footing that
you're bang on, because I don't know what our experience has taught us, but my experience in school is all the things that the school let me do, help me in my profession, not what the CBSE was asking me to do, because just that would not help me in my profession at all. What I was led to do was everything. Vineet, sorry we lost you because we're having an internet bandwidth issue here. This adaptation phase, which is now being literally thrust upon us.
At least 80% of my classmates.
Yeah, Ms. Saldana, coming immediately back to you. We have plenty of time. This completely adaptative phase that has come upon us. is being forced upon us.
So-
Now, that's an opportunity to change things.
So I think that we've been
Subsequently, Ms.
forcing-
Saldana, stay with me, sir. Let me put that question to Vineet.
So we've been
How do
spending
we
far
now
much time on
connect people
Yeah,
who have been
sure.
who've gone through the
Right.
system, Vineet, and get them to become participants in that?
You see, it's like very, very important for us, as the Alumni Association to kind of change our objectives in the sense, like why we are collecting all these funds, we've been collecting and these funds and, contributing towards the project. I think now what we have to do is we have to work very closely, with the school authorities, as, like SOSA has been doing, and, kind of help them now to basically, upgrade the facilities in the school. Wherever we are required to do so, we would be doing that. And that is a kind of a discussion I'm sure we are going to have very soon, like with the school authorities. But I think that is something which we really have been thinking about and which we really working on.
Okay, Praneeth ji, most of you guys already work closely, as Vineet I know does. You guys work closely with the school management and the school teams. What are the priorities, helps? Because right now the schools, I mean, let's face it, functionality is the most important thing. Going online becomes the most important thing. But going maybe 6 months in, what are you spotting that requires help and intervention that, old students can help in?
So we're starting a mentorship program. That's what this webinar series that we are going on, that's what the intent is. That since everything, including learning, Sanar has started online learning classes. So that happened pretty much immediately as soon as the kids were sent home. A week later, classes were set up. Teachers are teaching these kids from home. And so as alumni, we started this webinar session. And hopefully each of these people who are coming online on these webinars will start mentorship programs for new students, current students, as well as new alumni, to help them going forth, because it's a whole new world. They may have planned for XYZ job, but that may not exist in the future.
No, I think that's a very important
we
point.
are all going to have to
Okay,
reinvent.
since you mentioned it, let me take that up with Harmeet Singh, if you can hear me. Harmeet Singh, especially the kids who are just, exiting class 12 or who graduated from school a couple of years ago and will be in third year college and exiting, they're going to see a situation that, we haven't ever really seen.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct on that. They will require a lot of hand-holding. They will require a lot of input and help. We will have to, as an alumni, work out with the people to have think tanks as how we can help them come into the mainstream in the new environment, which is now being built up because of this circumstance. The alumni will have to definitely get together and, dip into all their resources as to what new ways and situations can be generated for them to be able to, get into professions.
No, and this is the honest reason why I'm having this conversation, because, one is the actual charitable work and time of crisis, and one is systemic change that needs to come, for which all of you guys are going to play a very, very important role. Yeah, ma'am, go ahead. Shivani ji, go ahead.
May I have a word? Yeah, I wanted to say that, the schools sitting on your panel today, so Sanar, Doon, Delhi College and Mayo, we've already formed a kind of a sub-society where we are trying to create, I'm sorry, modern school not included because we are boarding schools.
Residential.
So I apologize, Vineet,
Modern
for
school
that.
also has a boarding part of it.
But we all are part of a group where we started brainstorming about 3 weeks ago together to try and find a platform for, like not only charitable work, but also providing networking for our children when they exit school. Because the larger the group, the more we can help. The need of the hour is actually joining hands.
No, bang on. Class 12.
Say something here.
Yeah, class 12. Just hang a second. Vineet, come in, then Praneeth ji, and I also want to rope in Mrs. Saldana. Yes. Vineet, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, as Masosa, we also have our sister organization called the Modernites Trust, which manages a scholarship. Up to now, almost 130 plus students have been educated, and these have been the children from the very weak sections of society. who've been chosen on merit, and they were provided education free of cost from class 6 to class 12. So, that's the kind of work our trust has been doing. And educating 130 is not a kind of a small achievement. So possibly, like with the trust now, we have to also think of how, from just core charitable activities, we can turn our attention towards,
because of the project you guys are working on in creating, I think the trust is working on in creating a new educational research foundation is going to be one of them, and that's going to be adaptive maybe to good causes, Vineet. These are going to become important.
Actually, that is Modern Schools centenary project, which is going to be at excellence center, which is going to be built on the Modern School premises. And it's not going to be only for capacity development for just the Modern School faculty, but it's going to be for South Asian teachers. It's going to be a huge one, and it's a kind of an excellence.
So you are building a facility which is going to what? Train teachers, train models. What's the logic that you understand?
It's a centenary project of Modern School, and we as alumni are providing our support, whatever we can, through mobilization of funds. And it's going to be a facility which is going to be open to the entire South Asian region.
Okay, so any teacher from South Asia can come in. Okay, but Praneeth, on the specific issue of now of kids who are now exiting class 12, some of them have completed their boards, some have not been able to complete their boards and are going through that trauma. And especially for kids coming out of third year college, if you wanted to go study abroad, you're not so sure. If you had a job, you're not so sure if it exists because you don't have a final exam certificate yet. In facilitating this, what do we do?
Rishabh,
Praneeth ji take that. Rahul ji coming to next.
We're reaching out to all our, students graduating. We're here to help them. We've told them, we already had a induction ceremony where the students who are graduating this year, where we introduced ourselves so that they know that they have a whole fallback network that they can depend on. They are not alone going out into this world when it comes to jobs, when it comes to universities, whatever their need is. And I think the need is even greater now with this particular environment of uncertainty. That's where we are right now with this, and we're here to help them. And like I mentioned earlier, the mentorship program is what really is going to kick in now. And as Shivani mentioned, we're trying to create this alumni league to draw synergies from each of these various schools that we have.
It's an excellent idea, and I really wish you all the best. It's the right way to function, and mentorship is very important. Mrs. Saldana, why don't you come in on this, because the help is going to be required very practically to what we've been discussing in the earlier part of the conversation, and for kids who are graduating right now, especially out of school or college in their third year, and it's a pretty chaotic environment out there.
Absolutely, but let's not waste so much, shall we say, angst and energy on them, because they have good middle class, upper middle class parents like us to worry about them. My worry would be for the larger mass of humanity in this country who really don't have anyone to. So, and more importantly, I would like to say that while I'm not trying to deride the efforts of the various alumni associations for providing meals, I think what we've missed here is something like scale. There is the Akshaya Patra scheme, which is the only organization in this country that can handle this at scale. They do 1 million meals a day, every day. So that's something that we could focus our energy on if we were able to get them to ramp up perhaps and to extend this. And Akshaya Patra has got a pan-Indian presence.
True that.
So
in fact, we have a foundation, the ITB Foundation, which has been working with Akshaya Patra.
Methodology.
And you're bang on, maybe to focus where specialization already exists.
You see, because now,
it's a good point. Okay, just stay with me, sir. I think Devraj and Rahul ji both want to make a point.
Rishabh.
Okay, Devraj, you take it first, and then I'll rope in Rahul ji. Devraj.
So you had asked me a question, you asked somebody else in the question earlier. So I always say the lockdown is the easy part. But post-lockdown, the challenges we're going to face now with the joblessness and the economy taking time to revive, alumni associations of all schools are going to play a very important role in helping each other get jobs or helping through businesses. So, all of us getting together and helping each other and people who are going to lose their jobs over this last...
No, and maybe days. Extend that. So, as Mrs. Saldana has been making the point, extend that to the people who have the privilege of then becoming alumni. and even people who don't, and
Yes,
that's the extension of privilege of mentorship which needs to apply. Yeah, Devraj, finish your point, then I want to rope in Rahulji. Yes.
And then again,
Yeah, so the alumni can play a very, very important role in helping these people who are based all over the world in securing jobs, giving them opportunities in terms of business.
Okay.
So, I'm very...
Okay, just stay with me. Let's get into Rahul Kohli. I'll just come back to you, Ms. Sultana. Rahul Kohli.
Okay, I have to say that here comes a problem. Yeah, we're all talking about how we're going to help each other get jobs. Today, one of the biggest criticisms of schools such as ours is that we are under attack for cementing elite structures of power, influence, and we are under attack for being undemocratic.
Precisely.
Because equality of opportunity is the beating heart of a modern democracy. And schools such as ours, by the very fact that we give such an incredible education, subvert that equal platform. So, what is Doon planning on doing? Well, Doon's major thrust is that we want to become a needs-blind school, which means you give the Doon School exam, you pass the exam, and we will find the money to finance your education. That is the Doon School push.
it's wonderful.
Going forward. Now, where the Doon School is becoming needs blind, the Doon School Old Boys Society realizes that we see the abysmal state of primary education across the country, in the villages. Yeah. So what the Doon School Old Boys Society is pushing for at this moment is to finance small village level schools so that they can be brought up to a level in which a village child can pass the Doon School exam.
Right, interesting.
And it is not a simple exam to pass. So we have taken up the John Martin School. Yeah, we are working with the Gyanodaya schools. We are now looking to work with, there are about 2 or 3 other schools that we are looking at.
Interesting model. Okay, I think it's an interesting point you've raised. It's an interesting point you've raised. So let me address it since I got a few minutes left.
Mentorship.
Yeah, Rahulji, just hang a second. Let me just address this with the others since you've raised it. Let me go quickly in order of the people where they're sitting. Vineet, you mentioned, providing scholarships. 130, I think that covers everything. The ability for us to tackle this pathos that exists, that here we are school structures that are elitist and therefore don't have room to actually do good work. This is an image problem that also needs to be addressed.
Yeah, you see, I would just like to say one thing, that apart from the scholarships, I think the way now the new system is that a lot of PWS, like the quota is there in the admissions, and a lot of opportunities are being provided to people from weaker sections. So I think that's the space is getting tighter and tighter. After all, the schools have to have their own, quota also. So in that scenario, I think we have to be very, very judicious in terms of how much scholarships and can be supported of the people from the economically weaker sections. So I think that is some kind of a challenge.
And working with a larger responsibility, though charity begins at home, and then there is a larger cause of charity as well. And we are all here for nation building, which is what the entire purpose is. And I think pretty much all our schools would have taught us exactly that. Let me get in.
Those are the basic principles.
Harmeet Singh, so let me counter it. Because the reality also exists is that there are a number of people from all the schools that you guys represent have been very important in that nation building and continue to be important at nation building. Everybody is not just, rich and spoiled.
No, it's not one question of rich and spoiled. Sorry, I mean, Rahul, I appreciate what you're saying, but even when we go to schools like yours and mine, we are taught that we need to pay back to society, and if we are given the the faculties of generating jobs, we can pay back to society in many ways. It's not necessary that we have to just do scholarships.
Yeah.
I mean, just generating employment and you are paying back to society in any case. And if you can generate wealth, you are paying back to society in any case if you can, distribute that wealth.
Okay, I think this is going to warrant a much longer conversation than the time I have left, and maybe we should come back and have it. It's an important one to have. But since I'm brief on time right now, Praneeth ji, just now looking ahead immediately, what do you see as priority? Vineet, I'll give you a chance before I end. What do you see as priorities going ahead, sir? Ma'am?
So, number one, I think setting a good example for society in general, because we're going to have to redefine ourselves and what we are doing. Schools, we need to highlight people who are doing good work such that our children growing up get exposed to these people, get exposed to what a holistic life is. They're sitting at home now, they're studying at home without any exposure to anybody else. So if we as societies, as parents itself are doing good, we set an example for the generations to come.
Okay, Shivani ji.
I think we've got to watch out that we don't get depressed.
Can I make one just final point?
That's going to be the most important thing. We all have to keep the spirit up, and we all have to focus and pause and really think as why we reached this space.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, pause for the call. Ms. Salzana wants to come in. Ms. Salzana, go ahead, sir.
Can I just make one final point? Just one final point. I think it's a good time for us to soul search about something like CSR. We've had this wonderful initiative for the last 5 years, but I think CSR has really dropped the ball. And this might be a very good time for corporates to look into their souls and ask themselves, who are the people who have been in charge of CSR? Tragically, somebody is kicked upstairs into CSR because it's a job nobody wants. And really speaking, very few companies have spent their CSR budget at the end of the year. They're a bit like the MP's local area development fund.
It's an interesting point.
This is precisely the question
and many people watching this broadcast
why is it that CSR would not be focused
this was the point of CSR
on alleviating
and bang
the
on. If you ever felt the need for it, this was the bang on need for it.
Precisely.
Yeah, Vineet, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wanting to make one more point about these
step up to the
scholarships.
plate.
Like modern
Step up to the plate and do
trust
what's
scholarships
necessary.
don't just stop at school. Once these scholars pass out of class 12, some of them are being supported beyond school also. And there have been some exemplary cases, like there's a small example of a girl who came from a very conventional family from Old Delhi, did not know a word of English when she joined modern school in class 6, but she was a brilliant student. She went up to study in modern school, and she was surprisingly topper in English in the board exams in class 12. That's what modern school did to that girl, and that's how we have actually contributed. We are contributing to changing society. So that's a very kind of a significant contribution.
It's the example, and I don't want to make it personal, but the job I took up and the job I do, and if you think journalists are rich people, we get paid nothing, and we are an industry constantly in crisis, corona or no corona, because of the opportunity to explore things other than the science I was supposed to study. Rahul Kohli, quick last word, sir.
Yeah. I'd like to say there are multiple equally important narratives playing out across the world. Climate change is something the Doon School is taking very seriously. We have an entire rewilding program happening in school. So what you teach the children at the school level are things that stay with them through their lives. So the entire Doon School is in a process of rewilding at the moment. We are bringing in native species into the school, tree species, plant species, and replanting, allowing certain parts of the school to go completely wild. We have seen an enormous influx of birds, insects, and butterflies into our school at the moment. If you just look at what is happening with the rich people in the world today, you begin, yes, they are creating jobs, yada, yada, all that, I agree. And it's a very important thing. But you take today when 8 people in the world have as much wealth as 50% of the poorest people on earth. 8 on one side, 50% on the other.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir, and I really wish I had much greater time to have this very fascinating conversation, and the Jeff Bezos and the Bill Gates of the world. We run short of time. It was really exciting. Yeah, Devraj, literally 10 seconds, buddy. I'm already way over time. Yeah, Devraj, go ahead.
So Rishabh, going forward, 2 very important things, that every home will become a school, So this concept, all the parents need to understand. Secondly, post lockdown, the medical facilities at the school will be very, very important and critical.
Yes.
So all of us at the school level will have to really put a lot of emphasis on hygiene and medical facilities. So these two things are very, very.
You're bang on. So there is school specific, there is society specific, because the schools teach the next generation and they're going to be changing dramatically. Society specific on what immediately is required. Then the larger role that now needs to be played by some of the most well-established schools that are honestly built on the shoulders. Institutions are built on the shoulders of the people they end up producing and the service they end up doing. None of these schools.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.